Well, welcome to my channel. I'm doing a little bit different things today, and it has to do with my orchid. This orchid is one of my big ones that I got at Walmart many years ago. It has a baby, and the baby has roots, so I needed to repot it since it's been a while, and get those roots back into the soil to get it hydrated and take that baby out so we can have another little baby orchid. And here we go. I did have to soak for 15 minutes to make sure that it's all nice and loose, and it'll make it a little bit easier to get out of the pot, although it's a very heavy orchid, so it took me a bit of time. So I do apologize, I have the worst setup. It actually is broken. I need to get a new one. But it still has a lot of nice roots. I try to get off all the old bits, just so it's when I put the fresh soil in, or fresh bark, it won't have anything left over. But there's always a few things that are going to get left in there, so not that big a deal. But I try to get as much off as it, and I'm going to be removing the dead root, so you can feel a dead root. It's either smushy or just it feels hollow. So, and I do apologize, I have a dog lapping up water in the background. So my husband just brought in their food. Anyway, and I use, the stuff I like to use is the Repot Me bark. I find that they're the best. I never use a Miracle Grow because they contain the peat moss, peat moss is okay for some orchids, but not really for the Phalaenopsis like I'm doing today. So you want a peat moss with something more like a slipper orchid. So usually it's the bark, because they are epiphytic orchids. They live in trees in their natural habitat, and we bring them into the house, and then they need to live. So they do adapt. But the bark, because their roots need the water, and they also need air. And usually the Phalaenopsis, they don't mind a little bit of dehydration because they can go a little bit longer in between waterings, but they will adapt. But usually I like to water mine at least once a week because I live in the desert, and even though it's inside and I have a lot of plants, and if you notice on the leaves, this one is a little bit dehydrated. But it should be good because all those extra roots were in the air, not getting the water it needs. Like if they're in nature, all the roots would be stuck to the tree, and they'd be getting watered and getting all the things that they need. But right now they're living in my house, so they gotta adapt. Sorry it's such a bad angle, but it didn't take very long to get the little baby out. All the orchids to the mother plant that was around the baby were dead. And then the baby's roots were nice and green, so it was good. So I didn't worry too much, but it was a bit of work and some snipping. this up because all I'm doing is putting bark in. So, and it does take a bit because it's a rather big pot. So lots and lots of roots, and there's actually a little leaf coming out at the top. So it's just been, this orchid has just been my amazing orchid. So all the green leaves, it's been healthy. Even though when I bought it, it was from Walmart and it was completely drowned, but it always gives me the best blooms. So I've been quite happy with it. And so some more bark, lots and lots of bark. And I almost forgot the slow release fertilizer. So orchids fertilizing needs will vary. There's some orchids that actually need more fertilizer than others. So Phalaenopsis, I just put in some, and then there's a good one with Repot Me that they have their fertilizer and their probiotic. So the probiotic's really good if you need for growth, for roots and everything. So it's a really good product. When I was potting this, I had to decide whether to put it in a smaller one or the bigger pot, and I chose the bigger one mostly because this one has a lot of roots, so it's going to have a lot of roots in the system, so this way I don't have to repot it really soon. So I have a while before I have to do that. And there they are, all nice and cozy in their new homes. So I hope you enjoyed.